Hello everyone, turbulence ahead. Definitely not pulling in the ratings. Yes, danger is lurking for the careers of Meghan, Harry, and their partners. However, today's video will be a little more special. We'll start this video without talking about Harry and Meghan because I have a difficult story for some taxpayers, not UK taxpayers, and a hilarious one to end it on. We'll start with the Princess Royal, who has supported Team GB in the Paris Olympics. In Versailles, she and her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, gave Team GB equestrian team eventing gold medals. Princess Royal competed in the 1976 Montreal Olympics. First royal to compete in the Olympics, Princess Anne rode her mother's horse Goodwill. She lost, but in 2012, she presented silver Olympic medals to her daughter Zara and her colleagues. One of the finest opening ceremonies made 2012 a unique Olympic year. Though not the finest, it was clearly in the top 3 because of the James Bond introduction with the Queen parachuting in. That ranks with Paddington Bear for me. It was amazing and showcased Queen Elizabeth's joyful and brilliant side. Horses, equestrian activities, and horse riding are particularly important to the royals, notably Her late Majesty. This is even being handed on to younger generations. Princess Anne and Sir Timothy Lawrence are not the only royals to back Team GB. The Duchess, another beloved royal, has also appeared. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is amazing. Sophie spent 2 days in Paris watching sports, and the royal family created a nice film for Team GB. Naturally, Sophie supported them throughout. Sophie's pleasure at the end of this film was not just because Team GB won gold, but also because our girls established a world record. Congratulations, ladies, that victory was well deserved. Sophie attended more than the Olympics in France. She also visited La Galerie Dior, a fashion museum honoring the haute couture firm Dior. Since I'll never wear their clothes, I've never given any attention to these large fashion houses. It's too expensive. I've learned about Dior's gowns throughout history and fallen in love with them. I adore the film that caused it. Original title, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. But I watched this version and fell in love with the film and the outfits. So now when Dior comes up, I pay closer attention to the designs. It's not just the wonderful film, which I highly recommend you watch, but also the ties between Dior and Meghan, since Meghan openly denied Dior's offer to become her ambassador. There are often rumors that A-listers will take this or that promotion. That's probably true when A-lister tales saturate the internet. But this report proved to take notes to be another lie. It may have been random or planned. Her costumes were probably pre-planned, but the media and publications loved it, thinking Queen Camilla was giving Meghan the Winston Churchills. Discuss the Dior advertisement. Why dress a bargain duchess when they can clothe a queen? Though the royals are on their customary holiday, we are pleased to announce that the Prince and Princess of Wales will join them in Balmoral for their summer break. Now show me your hands if you are a fan of Prince and Princess of Wales. If you are a fan of them, can you show your support by commenting number 1 or dropping a heart in the comment section? Thank you very much, everyone. I can't think of a more tranquil and lovely setting for the King and Catherine to recover. The late Queen and Prince Philip and other royals adore the serenity and tranquility of their Scottish castle hideaway. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who bought the estate for her in 1852, were the first royals to adore it. In 1946, Prince Philip proposed to Princess Elizabeth in Balmoral, where they spent much of their honeymoon. I was not surprised that a Montecito couple was not invited this year. Meghan, bring your journal to take notes. Certainly, they'd have to be strip-searched for recording devices on arrival, randomly during the visit, and on departure. No access to any digital equipment for the duration. No writing pads or pens, etc. Oh, bugger it. It's much better they just stay away from the UK permanently, and all Commonwealth countries, especially Australia. I wish they'd lose all titles. Rugrats too. Those titles they claimed weren't important, but they hang on to like barnacles to a steel hull. Useless, lying, vacuous oxygen thieves. The pair of them! As I've mentioned many times, the royal family has learned the best way to deal with this pair is to build bridges. No content. Give them nothing to sell to the highest bidder on the TV trip. Give them nothing. Their oxygen supply is cut. They gave them many opportunities or olive branches to come over and bring the children. But Harry and Meghan refused every single time and did nothing but continue and escalate the attacks, most of which were lies. They have tried everything to destroy all bridges with that family. I don't believe reports about Harry and Meghan trying to heal relationships, coming back and doing all of this. If they were, Harry wouldn't have swiped his family again on the ITV tabloids documentary. Meghan wouldn't have swiped since this CBS interview was hard for her in the royal family. I think the news is accurate that they were not invited, since Harry and Meghan always throw forth information stating, "Oh, they're not going until they get an apology." They can't do that this year, right? Because it's been made obvious that you can't skip an invitation. Harry and Meghan have angered more than just the royal family. They've outraged many individuals and countries, and they're going to upset another, but it's more about tax-paying citizens. Not the UK this time. The country is Canada. CTV News revealed through a Freedom of Information request that Canadian taxpayers paid $34,000 for police overtime during Harry and Meghan's brief visit to British Columbia. To clarify, Harry and Meghan's February 14-16 tour to Vancouver and Whistler to promote the Invictus Games. That's what they should have done there. They ran up a $44,000 to $500 Canadian police security bill. The Invictus Games recovered $10,000, but Canadian taxpayers paid the rest. According to the Post, a Vancouver police official stated that they did not provide protection for Harry and Meghan, but had officers in the vicinity in case of complications. Over 2 days, that's a lot of police to rack up a $45,000 Canadian charge. The Invictus Games Vancouver and Whistler 2025 director has also stated that the police protected the people, not Harry and Meghan. Security for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's late February visit was not funded by taxpayers. Individual payments directed by donors paid for their private security detail. Straight from the source. Harry and Meghan, multi-millionaires, do not pay for security. An Invictus Games spokesman said donations from Games donors paid for their private security. I've never worked for a charity, so please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I find it highly suspicious that someone donating to the Invictus Games, which supports veterans, would say, "Oh, do you know what? I don't want it for veterans, their families, equipment, or assistance. Harry and Meghan's private protection is my preference. Could you direct my cash there?" Even if this is true and people have chosen to do this, perhaps Harry and Meghan's rich friends, surely the multimillionaires would say, "No, we don't want any charitable donations to go to us. We can pay our own way. Please ensure all funds go to veterans, their families, and the Games." That's incredible. But we always suspected this since 2 whistleblowers came up and 2 individuals were reshuffled at Invictus Games Canada. Many donations earmarked for the Games, veterans, and operational costs are going to Harry and Meghan's expensive excursions. It makes you question how much the Invictus Games pay them to go to Nigeria. Meghan focused on her finding and heritage, but they were supposed to promote the Invictus Games. How much would you bet that Harry and Meghan never put their hands in their pockets during the trip? For Canadian taxpayers, who paid $56,000 Canadian dollars for Harry and Meghan's brief flight from the UK to Canada on the Freedom Flight. They wanted half in and half out, and to relax and have a normal life with some privacy. That tale changed fast, didn't it? However, taxpayers paid for their special protection, which they cruelly insulted and dispatched on errands to bring them food and beverages. It's no surprise that the Canadian Taxpayer Federation has questioned why taxpayers are paying this price. Yes, many Canadians will be aware of this news and raise the same questions. If Harry and Meghan can raise a police bill that much in 2 days, can you imagine how much it will cost to cover them for the whole Whistler-Vancouver 2025 Games? With their global notoriety, where people either admire them or find them funny. It's not unexpected that their recent documentary didn't fare well. The CBS version garnered far more dislikes than likes. They had thousands of spectators, but not as many as expected, although it's Sunday morning TV. Harry and Meghan used to draw a lot of viewers to hear them rant about the royal family. They've done other shows with low ratings recently. Harry was employed as a poster boy for ITV's Tabloids on Trial to boost viewership. It seems they chose the incorrect poster boy. Should have chosen Hugh Grant. Yes, an airplane safety program outrated Tabloids on Trial. A turbulence program defeated them to 30th place. Turbulence is created by chaotic and unexpected air pressure drops, as most of you know. The plane passes through air pockets that change temperature. I detect parallels. Harry is erratic and full of nonsense. The ratings show why the two shows ran together, because it was truthful, engaging, and beneficial. The aviation safety program won by 1 point in the ratings. All that Harry is not. As I said above, not shocked at all that the grifters weren't invited. It's the last thing that the royal family needs. I honestly believe they are so done with those two deplorable. Not even the so-called grandchildren can cause forgiveness. Now he has nothing to use. It is extremely ironic that Meghan Markle is anti-monarchy, yet ravenously clings to her hastily bestowed title of Duchess. Anyway, if those two had any integrity, they wouldn't take any money from the Invictus Foundation. Moreover, if they had any integrity, they wouldn't use the parents of dead children to promote themselves and act like they care. They wouldn't have accepted the Tillman Award, and they would have addressed the plight of the Baka people. They wouldn't accept the use of a private plane owned by a criminal in Nigeria, and so on and so on. Every time they do something, a problem with their integrity comes to light. And, as a Brit, I would say the lack of integrity to use a title they have not earned from a family or country they falsely accused and continue to disrespect for money and attention. And that's only a few examples. I detest them. Harry will never admit he married a viper or that his vitriolic attacks are unfounded because he'd have to set aside his pride to do so. Hope they will hug each other for the rest of their lives so as not to hurt others. Thank you for watching our video. I hope you can express your opinion in the comment section below and then support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Once again, thank you, goodbye, and see you again.